start.
Okay. So yeah. Hi everyone. So today we will be like learning web development with the very popular framework called Flask. And we all know that Flask framework, like it is like it requires like a very good Python knowledge. So today we will be covering a lot of the like essential like topics that will make you like a lot better at Flask. So let's get started. I hope nobody has doubts yet. If you have doubts, Yasin is like posting this link like a lot of the times. Like it is posting periodically in the chat. You can just like actually go here and ask doubt there so that we can. Yes, we are recording a session so that we can so that I can actually see your doubts on my laptop as a notification. Okay, so let's start. Well, who am I? Well, I am a developer. Like I am the founder of BroCode community and an aspiring software developer. I do have like GitHub, but currently it's baddened because I have actually deleted a lot of my repositories, made a lot of my repositories private. But the repositories that I have right now are functional. And right now, my best repository is of a web development project called Instagram Geo Timeline, which extracts the like Instagram location of a account and prints it in a map and gives you the data in JSON and like I forgot actually. I need to see it. It also has and also has an API and everything. Like you can just check it out. So that's my best project yet, and that is why I think that just like me, that I made such a powerful project with Flask. You should also learn Flask so that it can not only give you a skill of making websites, but as well as it gives you like like an another dimension of thinking where you can actually integrate it into other projects and do like pretty wild things. So this is our today's objectives. Our objectives include like an introduction to Flask and web development and the correlation between them, setting up a virtual environment and building like a Flask project, learning what is the Ninja templates and packs and what are dynamic web pages, integration of a database into the project, like pretty much any database that is SQL based, okay, and the actual part that is the deployment of the project that like many of us are interested in. So let's continue to the first part. So what is web development? If we read the data on the screen, it says that web development is the process of creating website with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, etc. Like we make websites for like a lot of services like shopping, information communication, etc. Right. So in short, web development is the skill of making websites that can be used to share information, that can be used for communication, that can be like used for providing services to the users. Example, like the web application that we are using, that is called Google Meet. It is facilitating us with communication. The web application that I have made here is doubt submission form, and this is because so that if you guys have any doubt, and if you ask the doubt here, it might get ignored. But if you ask the doubt here, it won't get ignored. And that's why I made this. So every web application has its own purpose, and that's what web development is. It is a like skill of making websites, making web applications. So what is Flask then? Now for web development, you can take many paths. Okay, if you go here to roadmap.sh and look here on like for web development, there is front end and back end. For front end, it's pretty simple, HTML, JavaScript, and etc. But for back end, and that's it. Okay, like you guys are interested in the back end, right? So in back end, there is like a lot. Like there is like Java, C#, PHP, JavaScript, Python, Ruby, and so much. Okay, so we all know that Java is like it's very hard to learn. It's not beginner friendly. Python is beginner friendly. JavaScript is beginner friendly. C# is not. PHP is very old. It's also very like insecure. Like on a beginner level, it's very insecure. Even Ruby, it's not very good at like community support. So in that case, here comes Flask. Flask is a like framework made in Python that allows you to create like web applications very easily. And well, since it's made in Python, like its syntax is obviously very similar to Python, and as well as it is very easy to like develop web apps in. Like भाई 60% वेबसाइट आज PHP में कोडेड है. Obviously, PHP is a very old technology. Like PHP, if you search for it, भाई बहुत पुराना है ये. अच्छे से देखो 1993 का है. बट PHP का तुम्हें रेमिनेसेंट बहुत कम जगह पे मिलेगा. अभी अभी PHP में लाइक लोग बहुत कम कोड कर रहे हैं. इवन कि अभी लोग कस्टम बैकएंड्स के पीछे ज्यादा भाग रहे हैं. ऐसा क्यों है? वेल आई एक्चुअली हैड अ मीम. मैं अभी शो नहीं कर सकता, वो अभी मुझे मिलने में बहुत टाइम लगेगा, टाइम वेस्ट होगा उसमें. बट एनीवेज, एक कस्टम बैकएंड सीखना बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट भी है in a lot of scenarios. Like a custom backend allows you to like do you like give you the freedom to do anything. Okay, example, in this case, some yeah exact oh yeah new doubt by I don't know whom, but anyways, like here you guys are posting doubts and I'm getting the doubt here, like in notification. The custom backends actually allow to do this kind of crazy shit, and that's why Flask comes here. Flask is very flexible, easy to learn, making like, and it is like an excellent choice for beginners. Okay, and obviously a lot of you guys have already used Flask. Example like was Shivam there. We all know that Flask can get irritating to work with sometimes, but I mean, no, I mean, I'm not like speaking in Hindi all the time because we are recording. But yes, if you have doubt, I will explain in Hindi. मुझे हिंदी में ज़्यादा comfortable हूँ. मैं हिंदी में समझाऊंगा जब जब तुमको प्रॉब्लम होगा. Anyways, so the Flask is very used. Like in that case, like Flask is very irritating. Like in all lot of cases where you need to like write big code and say, okay, but what about you're making a router? Okay, in that case, if you use PHP, anybody like suppose who hacked your Wi-Fi, they can just simply like just inject some code and they can get access of your router. But with Flask, you have such a deep level of access that you can actually implement such a level of security. Okay, wait a second. I just want to know how these doubts are getting a notification screen at the end of the session. I mean, I told you guys actually. You guys were late. Actually, you guys were late. So, okay. Anyways, we will dissect this application at the end. Okay. Anyways, why need frameworks like Flask in first place? Yeah. The first thing is it will simplify your development very easily. Let me show you one of my Flask applications. Let me show you a very simple one. app.py. See here. Now we all know that we all have like machine learning developers in every like in like every street. Okay, now we have like a dozen of machine developers, like machine learning like developers. They're like AI developers. Okay, there are so many. They make so many projects, right? But half of their projects are actually like we say, okay, it's good. Why? Because even though the project has a lot of potential, as a like generic user, we just cannot use it because it is just like a library. They just make it as a library, just make it like as a like Jupyter notebook and something like that. They don't really make anything useful with that. Okay, example, there is actually a project called like something called like ext colors. Okay, now what I did was actually made a small wrapper script around it. Okay, this is the wrapper script that I made using PIL and ext colors, UID, and so on. And then just use the wrapper script inside of this Flask application. Now what it does is whenever I run this application, wait a second, what the hell? Yeah, wait a second. I mean, actually, let me run the application and show you guys like what it's capable of. Now, if I actually run this application, you can actually see that Yeah, it's running. It cannot run on 8,000. So that's a bad news. 127.0.0.1 semicolon 8080. Stop. Let's try bind. If it cannot, then I will try a way. Yeah, I will try a way for you guys. Otherwise, yeah, it's running on 8080. Anyways, yeah, there you go. 192.168 dot. No, I mean, not 127.0.0.1 8080. So this is the application that I made. Okay, now what this application actually does is you go ahead and then upload an image. Okay, you submit it. It will take some time, like around 10 to 12 seconds. It already says that because it's using an algorithm and behind, okay, and also some internet, some like clever techniques, some API and so on. So it will take some time. And what it will do is it will give you a result. And why, like I'm showing this application, you might think, oh, this application, this kind of application available everywhere. Even Google has it on their like phones, on the Pixel experience. Rome also is available. You can see here it extracts the color, right? Now let me tell you. Suppose I was using some other machine learning algorithm, some other model that is really useful, but the developer doesn't know how to write backend code, how to write front end code, like how to write a website for that like that particular machine learning application. That guy really just screwed because at the end, even though he made such a like good application, nobody can use it, right? So it solves one more problem, that is the actually usability, how usable your application becomes, how your application will interface. So Flask can provide an interface to your existing projects, any project. Even it can be even a C# project. Or also you just need to like make some interfacing layers and so on. But wait, 10 to 12 second delay, this can break connection. No, it won't. You can see it just didn't break the connection. If your internet is like, if I just actually upload this to like some web hosting provider, it will actually down, like shorten the like time to like 5 to 6 seconds. I mean, the problem is because it's using some like like the function is very unoptimized. That's why. But it is a perfect example to show that you can actually bind powerful tools with Flask. Now, what about security then? I dissed like PHP for only one thing, that is security, right? We laugh at the security of PHP so much. So how good security Flask provides? Well, it's a complicated story. Since Flask provides you such a like deep level access, you are yourself like responsible for making very insecure code. But Flask itself has made it such a like good framework that you just cannot write insecure code. If you are writing some like some Jinja templates, you can actually implement like just one line, is a CSR token and so on, and it will be like it will be totally actually free from like those malicious guys who like constantly like spam someone's form. Okay, just by adding one line, that is like CSRF token. And like for Flask, there are a lot of security things that you can actually look into. Okay, now that is reusability. Now you can see like I've written here about like reusable code, right? You can actually take the code from one project, paste it in another, and it would work only if you like you have actually created dependencies. So the code usability is very good in class. Okay, it won't really break. And the community support, I mean, goodness, it's so good. The community support, half of the like Raspberry Pi guys who are actually making some really good projects. Okay, this is good, but we're still going the long range task. Yeah, definitely. Anyways, so the for the case of community support, we all know that Raspberry Pi, right? Now many of us guy like they make projects with Raspberry Pis. A lot of the times they make like security cameras, like they make like some sort of like robot. They make like robovacs, like like those Roombas actually. In that case, they actually require something like a web UI. And in that case, like Flask is a very good like contender. You are making a router, custom router OS, okay, and you need to make a web UI. Just use Flask there. And this is how Flask got such a good community support. And since it has such a good community support, so if you are stuck on Flask's one problem, pretty sure there is a like there is a like like 1,000, 2,000 people like waiting just to help you. Obviously, they will actually like scream a lot at your face, but at least you will get some help. Unlike a lot of the like, I won't tell the name, otherwise it will discourage. So let's start coding actually. If you look at here, these are some like commands I run, and like you can see here, yeah, this is just a mess. This is just a mess of commands that I just don't want to show you. And why I included this in the slideshow at the first place? Because I will do this live with you guys. I am encouraging you guys to actually open up a terminal and start coding with me. So deactivate, yeah. Okay. Let's do an make dirs, and then what should we name this project, right? Web dev prj, yeah, nice name. So whenever we make a Flask project, okay, Git is, let me tell you, Git is optional. It's on you. Like if you want Git to be there, you can. But one thing is like pretty important. That is virtual environments. Why I'm saying virtual environments are important? Because you might code this on your PC, okay? You take the code, send it to your friend's PC, and it breaks. Wow, how did it break? And that's the same code, right? You also told them, oh, I installed this dependencies. The thing is, you're not tracking your dependencies. And to track your like if you really want to track your dependencies, let me tell you, virtual environments are the best way to track your dependencies. Let me show you why. If I done here something Python 3 -m vnv and then hyphen env. Okay, I just like don't like giving it fancy names, so I just put in env. Instead, I put something called a prompt, and I just want to put a like project name here. The project name is web dev prj. Yeah, it will take some time because it's generating some binaries, it's generating some libraries, and so on. And then we will activate our project. There you go. So for this case, I will also enable Git. Why? Because I personally think that Git should be enabled by default on a lot of projects. Okay, wait a second. Let me admit her. Yeah. Hi, Sakshi. You are late, to be honest. I like 12 minutes late. Terminal looks good. Don't get distracted by a terminal. Okay. I mean, like, if people procrastinate in their browser, I procrastinate in my terminal. Okay, so don't get distracted. Anyways, so let's start a Git repository. Git add dot git commit hyphen. So what I'm doing here is, can we put in VS Code? I have Windows. I don't know. Obviously, you can. You can use something like a Windows terminal and then just run these commands. Actually, these commands are like cross-platform. You can run this on Mac OS as well. You can run those LFS, like Linux from scratch. I mean, like, who would actually install Linux from scratch? But anyways, you can. Let's open a VS Code and start doing with me. Like this. Yeah. So that create a terminal. I'm talking like a teacher now, to be honest. Wait a second. Let me just shrink it down. Okay. So you can see here. So my slate is ready, right? My project slate is totally ready. What I will do is I will run here something called my own personal love of like code editor, NV or NeoVim, and we will start coding the Flask project. So from Flask import Flask I just that's yeah. I mean, the recent update is actually making things a lot worse. Yeah, yeah. The new keyboard is also. I need to get used to it. Anyways, so what I'm doing here now is I have actually set up like a Flask app. Yeah, I imported the Flask. I made the Flask application, and now I'm setting up the routes. Now, what are routes? See here, this is an application. This is a web application, right? Every application has its path, right? Example, roadmap.sh is a website, and this is its homepage. So it like you can see that say like it's essentially at slash. Okay, I want to learn about backend, so it will forward me to the backend route. Okay, so the URL, this URL after this like HTTPS is this part, this URL is actually called the route. Okay, so we are actually setting up these routes and nothing more. So def index return h h1 slash h1. Do summarize after you reach a milestone. Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty fast in these things. So I'm really sorry. If you really have a problem, you can actually like just like anonymous, you can actually just post it doubts. Hello world. So essentially what I did here is I made a Flask application. I mean I imported a Flask like I the Flask object and the Flask class. I made a Flask object. I added a route to it, added a function to the route. The function returns an HTML string that is like h1 hello world. And now the main part is either you are going to run this with a production server or you're going to run it in a development server. Now, what's the difference between the production and a development server? In a production server, you can you already know this server is going to be running like 24/7 in like an actual environment. Okay, like like the Spotify. Okay, it's definitely not running on development server. Otherwise, what is underscore name? Okay, wait a second. Let me show you. So whenever we run Python, like if you see here, it's actually a internal variable. Okay, it's actually an internal variable, and since I don't want to name it something like you don't want to name it something like this, right? So in this case, you just like let it handle, like you just let Python handle the naming scheme. Okay, it's like giving Python the control of a naming scheme. So if like let us imagine that something else is running this application, okay, like something else invoked this application, you would actually know this by the log name. That oh, this application name was this at this time. So yeah, that means it was invoked by this. So since you are letting the Python handle the naming scheme, and by the way, the underscore name is nothing but it's an internal variable. Okay. Yeah, Yasin has a doubt. Underscore name equals Sakshi get word left. Okay, no problem. Now what I'm doing here, well, you guys know about this. If the underscore name is equal to underscore main, that means if the application is run by like Python 3 app.py, something like that. Okay, like this the way that we run the Python applications. In this case, run the application. Otherwise, if the application was imported like Python 3 and then we just import from Flask, import this and that. Okay, so in that case, just just don't run it. And I'm also like using something called app.run. Like that this is the app that we made and this is the run function. So what is this debug? This is the debug parameter or this like this this is an actual optional. These are actually optional, not parameters actually, optional arguments. So why I'm using this optional argument like this debug equals true? Why? If there's an error, I don't want. I use Pandey. Yeah. Now I'm nervous. Hi, Ayush sir. You are a little bit late, but anyways, thank you for coming. If you have any doubt, yes, and please share the link. Okay. Again. Anyway, so you can see here that we have this like debug equals true. Why? Such that if there is any error, we can just simply go in the like we can just see in the like browser itself. Okay. Let's run it. It's time to run. And Python 3 app.py. Oh, it says there's an error. And we app.py and yeah. So you see here we get an error that there is no module called Flask. But if you look at here, I do have a module called Flask installed on my computer. If I see here, you can see I have something called Flask installed on my computer. And why it's saying that Flask is not installed? That's because we are in a virtual environment. I told you like a virtual environment is like a place where it's actually keeping track of every dependency that you are going to install. So right now it has no dependencies. It cannot solve any dependencies that your application needs. So we are slowly going to add dependencies. And why this method is good? Let me again remind you, your code might work on your laptop, your code might work on your desktop, your code might work on your phone or tablet anyway. Okay, but your code may not work on someone else's computer. Why? Because the way you set up your environment. So to make sure that the code application actually runs somewhere else, just make sure that you have a blank slate environment so that everybody else can actually follow through. So yeah, I will just install Flask for now. This is how you install Flask, even on Windows, even on Mac. Don't worry. Python's all the commands are actually cross compatible. Now, if I done this, yeah, yeah. Now, if I run this, you can see it's running on port 5000. Yeah, 5000. Hello world. So this was actually a Hello World application, right? So let's quickly start adding like some features to it. Okay. And what features? Yeah. So guys, now I'm looking forward to you. Okay. Use a doubt submission form. Use a doubt submission form to tell, like, give me some ideas of what features should I add to this. Meanwhile, I will actually teach you the rest of the thing. Okay. Like what is Jinja and how to integrate a database. Yeah. Thank you, Yasin, for sharing the link again. So what is Jinja? In simple terms, before telling what is Jinja, okay, let me tell you what a dynamic web pages is. Like you see this, this is the web page, right? It looks so good, right? But if I go here, do a like inspect here and see this, it's full of code like HTML code. Just imagine a developer, that guy must have had a nightmare writing the code for this, right? Even if okay, even if the code is computer generated, like every page, okay, is computer generated, still generating this vast amount of code by a computer is actually a little bit time consuming. It also like slows the computer down. So in this cases, like we actually follow the template rule. Okay, just like the way like we run some like just the way like we actually generate project from not from scratch, but actually like we run some templates, like, and then we edit the template and then start and then get going with the project. Just like that, we make templates for HTML as well, so that the computer can actually generate pages based on the template. So Jinja is a popular templating language for Python, and let me tell you who made them. Okay, So this is the Flask documentation page. Okay, pirateproject.com. And let me tell you something. This is Jinja's documentation. See something? They are made by the same guys. Okay, this is made by the same team of developers, which means that that there's going to be a very good intercompatibility. So Jinja is the best thing that you can use with Django or with Flask or with Bottle or anything. Okay, like it's right now the best templating syntax in Python. And why you need a templating syntax? Like why do you need a templating engine? Okay, well, in simple terms, you just write once, like only one HTML file. Okay, you just like define the basic structure, like the nav bar should look like this. If the person is logged in, then here should be his name. This should be and the names variable like that in curly braces. Like you can actually flexibly write HTML code such that you can like just write once, and every time someone visits, it shows the data accordingly to that user. Example, we just made this application right without anything fancy like Jinja, right? Now let's just see here. Okay, if I go here and go request, okay, so name equals request dot args dot get name if. So let's change this with name. Okay, let's change this with name if name else world. Let's run this now. It would still print world. Okay, but as soon as I put here name equals, let's put Shivam. Why not Shivam? It actually changes it to Shivam. So Jinja is just like this but on steroids. Okay, because you actually create the files. Okay, it's like it's like this. Okay, let me show you. So let me show you some projects that I built with Jinja. I showed you the ColorX, right? So in the case of ColorX, you can see I have a templates folder and nv start. Okay, so this is, I mean, like a lot of the code was ChatGPT generated, so don't look at that. You can see here, right? I'm using Python's for loop inside of the HTML, like in the HTML syntax, and that's allowed by Jinja. Even here, like I mean, like this is like this does not contain like Jinja, but this thing actually contains like CSS. Like if I actually need to like contain some CSS data that has, I mean, I can actually show this here, right? This is like for loop. I mean, like I can actually show the color name. This is so powerful, right? You can actually customize it to your particular project, and that's what makes Jinja so powerful. And yeah, this is the syntax of Jinja. I showed you already. Here's some examples, right? You just write this one like HTML file and this one app.py. Every time you run this, you know the output. It will show like the h1 in title, like title will be like this big. Okay, and then there, I mean, depending on the computer, this data will actually change. And every time you update or something, like this data will be totally dynamic. This data, like, you can actually incorporate dynamic data with your application, which makes it really powerful, which makes dynamic web pages really useful and powerful. Now, advantage of dynamic web pages, I told you, write once, rest forever. It also saves space, to be honest. Like, just imagine you're writing once, you are writing even less. Okay, like you are writing even less compared to the last project. So definitely, it will like save a lot of space. And since these things are actually supported by the backend devs themselves, okay, like this project, like just see this project. Okay, this is made by the same guys from the Flask team. So definitely there will be a better security. Like integrating the front end and back end sometimes lead to a lot of like security loopholes. This can actually address that. This has the power to address that problem. Now the main part, integration of a database to Flask. Yes, there's so many great databases, right? So many great databases, right? uh, Example, there's SQLite, there is MySQL, there's PostgreSQL, there is Microsoft SQL Server. But every SQL database has its own pain, its own just imagine your like you wrote for a code, you wrote code for SQLite, okay, and suddenly your manager says that, oh, I mean SQL, I forgot. I
Structured
mean,
query language.
I was about to say that. Anyways, sorry. Thank you, Prantika. Okay, so anyways, I it was embarrassing, but anyways, in the case like SQL is like it's very good in like it's like SQL is like it has a lot of database like that follows the SQL like language, right? Like there's SQLite, there is MySQL, there's PostgreSQL, there's Microsoft SQL Server. Every server has its own benefits and everything, right? Example, SQLite, it's very portable. It actually writes to a file. You don't need to like run a separate server for that. MySQL, it has its own benefits, I guess. I don't really remember. PostgreSQL, it has a very good community support right now. I see. Microsoft SQL Server, it might have its own like own advantage as well. But suppose you write tailor-made code for this SQL servers, and suddenly one day manager says that sorry, we need to shift to NoSQL database, or maybe we need to shift to some other SQL database. What are you gonna do? Resign the job? Option one. Um, Option two, start working again. MySQL and SQLite are same like 1% Realme, or are they owned by different companies? Like you need to actually research in that. I don't really research much because trust me, I mean like I don't like databases, to be honest. My friends love databases, but I don't like databases. I just like the I mean let it just the store it in a CSV file. Let's say that. So yeah, I told you right. Every database connector has its own connector, and this is the solution. We have something called SQL Alchemy. So what's the difference between all of them? Which one to use if there is? That's a problem. Like every database has its own like own set of like a feature set, right? Every database is so good that you might think, no, I should use that. No, I should use that, and that's a very big problem. So in that case, SQL Alchemy solves the problem very well. SQL Alchemy is another framework that has been turned into a plugin for Flask that you can just simply just one line, just you just put one line of code, and you don't need to worry about the SQL statements anymore. You don't need to worry, like you just make models like an ORM structure, and that's it. It feels like a dumb question, but why are you 4 out of 2 named like SQL? Isn't this confusing? Why are 4 out of 2 named SQL? SQL is a USP. Just like mentioning 50 megapixel is like USP of newer smartphones. They don't really want to mention that what kind of software they are using for the camera, but they mention that, oh, it has 50 megapixel and this would be also good like that phone. Yeah, that's why. Like it's just like an USP, okay, like we get in the market, we see in the market. So that's just the way like that. Every of them like have SQL to show that, oh, we use the SQL language, like we use the SQL query language. I can forgot it. Anyway, so these all of these actually have their own connectors. To solve this, we have SQL Alchemy, and let me show you how. So let's see how close are we to the end. We are actually pretty uh, close to the end of the slide. Okay, wait a second. I just I just that one. Yeah. Anyways, see here. If I go to dot dot plus cd doubt submission. Okay, see this application that we just made here. Uh, yeah, this application like the doubt application. Okay, so what I will do is say in the instance directory I have a database, a doubts database. Okay, and this is made using SQLite, SQLite 3, SQLite. Okay, if I do like something like select start from doubts, I guess donuts. I'm sorry. Like sometimes I do tables. Yeah,
By the way, those who don't know,
doubts.
star is for like selecting
Selecting
all the
everything,
data
everything. Yeah,
available in the
everything. Like,
database.
start is like a wild card. You just select everything. See this? I mean, actually, see this all data is actually getting into one place, right, in a database, and that's the job of a database, right? Now you might think that I had to write a lot of like SQL queries and so on, right? But actually, it's just serious. I just wrote one line that connected it to the database, and a few more lines just to make a table. If I change it like from SQLite to MySQL and then add username, password, and then the server's like IP address and then the port, I mean, like the syntax of like you know, if I change it to some other server, okay, or like some other like file, okay, it would happily accept that and would still continue to work. It's like so good, like the SQL alchemy, like it removes the headache of actually like putting like an effort in migrating databases. It's so good. So an example of SQL alchemy in Flask I showed you here, but you can see it again here. App equals Flask. Okay. So you can see here they make a class. They inherit a like a DB model. They add the required fields like ID, price, description, and so on. Pro has wrote the whole backend for the whole work service. But first of all, who wrote this? Who wrote this? Respect plus plus. I want to give you respect. Who wrote this? I need to see this. I need to. Anyways, class, flat, and so you can see here like all of these have their like own like these are their own columns, right? Own column of like data. Like price, it has its own column. And writing this in like Python gives a very good like idea that yeah this like if like okay, I'm confusing myself. Anyways, see this. This is the ORI model. This actually like this. Wait a second. This actually represents a table, okay? And every table should have a column and row, right? So these are all the columns. All the columns have been defined here, and you didn't have to write a single line of SQL to execute this. You just actually mentioned the class name, added a few columns, and just to make sure that the columns look pretty when you print them out in the console, you added a wrapper. Can you show and explain ngrok a little? I mean, it's not the main topic of the show, but yeah, ngrok is just like you have a server in your home, you want to share the server with a friend, just run ngrok, it will give you a link, send this. It's just like some online sharing stuff only. And I mean, like, it's not end, okay, like, it's not the end. So we are gonna make an application real quick, like we have this prg. So it's okay. Are the column databases are like secure, like we can separate for giving us, yeah. I mean, no, I mean the database is like accessed by the application itself. So if you restrict the applications like users, okay, like example, if there are like a lot of super users, they can only access it, okay. But if there are like a lot of normal users, they cannot access it. So you need to actually add those authorization scopes as well, okay. Those authorization scopes are important. I've been this is not the part of today's topics, but I mean, yeah, but your doubt is answered. Anyways, so we are making this application, right? Right now it's totally bad. So we will quickly start making this by, let's close all of this. Let's just close this tab as well. PHP, yeah. Okay. What I will do here is open up ChatGPT. No, not ChatGPT. tailwindcss.com. Why? Because we will be making a small application where you upload your doubts and it gets stored in the database. Looks familiar, right? Looks familiar, right? Looks familiar. So I guess we will do styling at the end, okay? But for now, what we will do first is we will actually first of all run the application cd code slash yeah. So source and then export and then python 3 app.py. So it's running. It's running. Yeah, it's running. So first of all, we need an directory where we can store our templates, like where we can store our like actual templates, like the form and where you gonna. So let's go to the templates directory and make a template called yeah, form.html. Now obviously we all know that you don't really need to write HTML head, body, and so on, right? You just actually continue with. But no, I'm just joking. Like let's write the whole HTML. HTML5. Yeah. What? Yeah. The trust me, the update is very HTML5. Yeah. There you go. So first thing, we need to make a form action slash method post. This is important. Okay. Please provide a Word document or any Google Sheet works with all these commands. Okay. Please provide a Word document or any wait a second. That works with all these commands. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, I will provide you. I work with a like Tamil a lot, so don't worry. If you guys want, you can actually use the like your mouse is also very really good. You can use your mouse if you want.
We will give you a GitHub repo. There would be a markdown file actually with the detailed things of how you can start your own server or make your own database, right? It would be helpful
Yeah,
for you with the docs and
I
all.
mean, yeah, I mean, like not in the GitHub, like in the Notion, I guess. I mean, like I will write a document in
Yeah,
Notion
that
and
would be
send it to
also good.
everyone.
Yeah.
It would be better to like write there because it's very like easy to write there.
And you will have the recordings. You can actually follow the same.
Yeah, I mean, I need to go through the recordings also because, yeah, I need to like edit it and CPU patch as well. So you can actually read like you can actually go through again from there. Anyways, so form action and then now in the form, what do we need? We actually need someone's name, right? Input dot no, input type text name name. I mean, trust me, hate this I hate this so much sometimes. Name equals name, yeah. What the hell is happening with this? I like this NV chat is really like not properly. Anyways, then we also need something like input. What is wrong with it? Anyways, name equals email. We also need someone's email, right? Like you can see here, name, email, and then doubt. And then for doubt, we have something called text area. Text area. Text area. And yeah, it looks good. Rows and columns, and then let's put here name equals doubt. Right now, let me again remind you, we are not doing anything like some some styling, some fashion here. We will not like put any kind of styling over our web page. Okay, that's going to take a lot of time, trust me, and it's pretty irritating as well. So let's make a button as well called submit. Oh wait. We also forgot something. Forgot here the placeholder. Placeholder equals name. Placeholder equals. Wait. Email, no email, and here placeholder equals doubt. Yeah, and then what we will do is we will, instead of like rendering this like hello and then this name if name else world, what we will do is what we will do here is actually return the file render template. Now, oh wait a second, I was about to commit a mistake. What mistake? I was about to use a function that I didn't import yet, and make sure that you always import this kind of function beforehand. Yeah, I'm also using the request function, so I guess I should. And then form.html. Yeah, w. Yeah, you see this is starting. And go here, press F5. You see name, email, and doubt is working. Name, name at provider, email at provider.com. Lol, nothing. Let's press submit. Message not allowed, right? So we need to now work on our backend. So our front end is ready. We need to work on our backend. So for our backend, @app.post. Now you might think that, oh, wait a second, what is happening here? We are using a get, we are using a post. Actually, we are actually trying to separate the function so that the code looks clean. Otherwise, you can also use something called route. Okay, but personally, I prefer separating the like separating these functions. So it's better to actually use a separate like this kind like separate function as well. I mean, just separate it. Suraj Kushwa. Oh, hello, Bugs. How are you? Okay, I forgot that you won't speak. Anyways, so def. Now, obviously, we cannot. Yeah. So form request, and then we will just simply take our form request. So now, even though I am a pro developer, I also need to. I am also like pretty forgetful, so I also need to look back to my old code as well. Because I don't always remember stuff like, yeah, request.form name. Good mic, good. My mic is not connected. I watched the whole thing with friends account. Thank you so much, Bugs. Anyways, thank you, Bugs. Name, email, doubt. Yeah. CD. That was web fprj, and yeah, there were data. Request dot form, and then, oh wait a second, what did we use actually again? We used name, email, and doubt, right? Yeah. So we need used, so daw name, email, and doubt. Again here, name, email, and doubt. Obviously, if we want, we can actually print it, name comma email comma doubt, and then just return a redirect to the original page, just the way it happens here. By the way, Bugs, if you don't have the URL here, this URL, let me share with you. Can you mix like the name compulsions on like last time we can pay respect to the guy? Respect plus plus, so we can pay respect plus plus to the guy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can actually make it compulsory in the front end as well as in the back end as well. But I don't really want to look further in it. That's why Stack Overflow exists. Just go to Stack Overflow or ChatGPT, ask them, they will actually do it for you. So I mean, oh wait a second, it's gonna give me an error. Oh wait, it already did give me an error. Okay, so let's run this again. Resend it, and if we see here, name, email provider, all nothing. Yeah, exactly. So we can see that our doubt is getting printed over here, but we why would someone actually like constantly stare in the terminal until and unless they are a Linux child like us? So what I will do is I will import something called OS OS module. Now let me tell you. Okay, I'm in Linux. I am using the GNU/Linux platform. So in that case, if I run a command called notify send, and then if I like it, right, let me show you new doubt by maybe sub like maybe the name is Arnav Ghosh, and then ये melody इतनी chocolatey क्यों है? You can see here the doubt is coming here. So I'm using a command called notify send here. Okay, I don't know about Windows. I actually made this I actually made this clear in GitHub. I made this clear in GitHub that I don't know what happens in Windows, and like so there is actually a wrapper for Windows for notify send. Yeah, there you go. And there is also a wrapper for Mac OS. So use that, okay? So that the command works. Otherwise, edit the code yourself. So, anyways, let's now make another function here. Oh, wait. Let's just quickly close it. Def make notification name. Yeah, it just requires the name and email, like name and doubt. Okay, email is like if I cannot address it now, I will address it later by contacting them. So os dot system, and I will run f string notify send. Oh, wait, notify send new doubt by name and then doubt. There you go. And then instead of using here like a print, like only a print statement, I can also use here a make notification. Instead of using it like providing the email, I will actually provide. I don't need to provide anything. Anyways, if I run this, lol, nothing. You can see here. So the backend like this thing works, like this notification thing works, but still you can see here the notification will only remain for like as long as I don't clear it. As soon as I press the writer pro, as long as I press the clear button, every doubt is gone. How can I now? What will I do? Well, I'm a Linux chat. I did something. I actually connected it to a database. Here is actually this instance folder. It contains a database that has all the doubts saved in it, and that's a problem. And I mean, like this is a problem. Like this is a problem that is solved. So let's solve the problem again. Let's solve the problem again. So let's run pip3 install Flask SQL alchemy It will take some time. It's downloading it, it's installing it, and it's done. Yeah, it's done. Let's do an nvim again, app.py, and then what we will do is like dv equals, wait, from Flask. Wait a second, let me quickly code slash. No, actually, I also forget sometimes. Flask SQL Alchemy, go SQL Alchemy, and I need to add the config file and the ORM model, and at the end I need to use the with app context at the end. Yeah, at the end. So Flask SQL Alchemy import SQL Alchemy. So db equals SQL Alchemy app, and then let's make a class called doubt, called the db dot model. And how did I push the doubts? If you look here, I was pushing the doubts by new doubt equals doubt. I made the doubt, and then db dot add new doubt, db dot commit. Yeah, 3 lines. I will just, yeah, I will just copy this part. Okay, so I will just you know what pro developers do, they just copy and paste the code. Yeah, this is copy and paste the code. Like, why write so much code if you just copy and paste? I mean, yeah, it is really convenient. By the way, this is no way like an very good advice to new developers. You should always write your own code to make sure that you are learning something new. Otherwise, there is no use in actually doing this kind of things. Yeah, let's go here. And here I was doing like make notification. Let's just OP. OP. Yeah, there you go. So doubt. And by the way, in database, I've made it like compulsory that the name is important, the email is important, the doubt is important. But in front end, since I made this like not so important. So yeah, it actually it is a problem. So, anyways, there's just doubt, email, name, done. Now if I run this, okay, so it says SQL. Oh yeah, I did screw up again. It's SQL Alchemy. I run this. It again. Oh yeah, I mean I also forgot one more thing. That is this. Yeah, this is actually the URL. Okay, app.config, and this is the the config. Like, this is the setting there, and this is the value to the setting that you are providing. Like, the setting is like SQL Alchemy database URL where you are going to save a database, and this is the like location of database. Okay, UID is not defined. Yeah, because I didn't import UID. And why I'm using UID? Because if you are using incremental values, it's not gonna run pretty well. But with UIDs, it can go on pretty good. Just a second, sorry, 7% charge. Okay. Now, if I run this, I hope it should run. Yeah, there you go. It's running. Look here. Now I will just it's enough email undergoes, and I have some doubt. Submit. I have some doubt. There's some operation error, and that operational error is because we didn't make the database yet. Let's look at here. If we go to instance, the doubt DB is present, but it is like not functional. We need to actually add a like app dot with app context db dot create all. This is actually an important line that you need to mention. So this is that your code works fine. I mean, by the way, guys, are you getting bored? Really, to be honest, because I'm not getting any doubts here, and also, yeah. Anyways, this is running now. I refreshed, resend it. There you go. Looks like it's working. Looks like it's working. If I go to cd code slash webdev vrj cd instance and SQLite3 out db, just do a select. Yeah, some doubt. Yeah, a bit learning a lot. But thanks for the free webinar. Guys, please put your name, please. Please, I just want to be like grateful to you guys. Idea provided. Yeah. Anyways, good. My mic is not correct. Like, yeah, thank you. So anyway, this is how we recreate another application. By the way, if you guys want to like, wait a second, let me open this up. If you really guys want to like dissect this one, now let's quickly like this is the time to like do it. Okay, it's time to do it. So now let's just dissect the actual application that I made. Okay, so this is the actual application that I made, and obviously I also used there like env. I used there also git. Not getting bored, getting knowledge with someone who has worked on it is great. Guru Charan, yes, thank you, Guru Charan. Thank you. I mean, the thing is, if you guys are being honest, okay, then to be honest, I am grateful to you guys that you are sparing your time because, yeah, I mean, I heard that you guys actually have exams. I mean, I don't have exams. I have my exams like a little bit like afterwards, but you guys are having exams. So in that case, yeah, I'm really grateful for you guys that you actually took out the time to learn something new. So Ravi joined now. Anyways, you can see here. This is the actual application that I made. I imported a lot of stuff. Okay, at the first, but I don't know what happened. I actually didn't use a lot of it. Okay, like this 25, I only used it like oh no, I actually used everything. So let's go line by line. All these imports are useful because first of all, see here we have something called Flask. That is the main thing in the project. Okay, we have Flask, we have render template, we have request, reiterate, URL for, and justify. Everything has its own job. Like the Flask is the actual object that with which we are going to create an application. Render template. Render template is actually the function that's going to like render the Jinja template that we created. Okay, and the request function, like whenever we post a request to this web page, it actually uses a request function to like request object. I mean, it's not a function, it's actually an object to actually grab the information about the user, like what browser they are using, what data did they send, like and like what data they are holding and anything like that. Okay, URL for it is also important. Like if you're constantly changing the URLs or the URL functions, like you can just actually use URL for so that you can actually like forget about it which route it is and just like remember about the function name if you guys want to use URL for. Otherwise you can actually use static URL just like me. And JS25, if you guys are like me, okay, who doesn't like to like spend time on like front end, okay, to make it look good, what we do is we can make it like an API. And JS25 is a pretty good thing for us because if we have some data and we need to like post it as an um like an if like raw data, you can do it. Like example, if you guys okay want to see all that, Want to see all the doubts that everybody has posted yet? Just do this. Do this with a URL. You will see all the doubt that this guy, like everyone have posted here. Everyone, okay. Oh wait, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Their emails are also there. Wait a second. Let me stop it. Let me stop it. Let me stop it. Okay. So you can see here, like I just exposed myself that I use this kind of stuff. Wait a second. And just run it again. Yeah. So let me send you the new URL because I know you guys are also good like me. You are also gonna do something notorious like me. That's why I stopped it. This is the new URL. So anyway, see here. I made this model, okay, this ORM model, so that in case like with us, you obviously know with SQL Alchemy, I made this ORM model because it's supposed tomorrow, like SQLite drop support for a lot of the stuff. Okay, I can actually wait a second. I can actually still like I will just simply just change this one line, and it would be like it would be like very seamless like transfer from one database to another. Now let's come to the routes. Okay, we have the first route which holds both get and post. Now I told you in the last time right that it's better to separate the functions, right? Sometimes it's not. Like I was making this with a friend, and yeah, that guy integrated it. Okay, I told him the idea, and he did like this. Okay, I made this part. That guy made other parts, and that's why. Anyways, so we did it in the one function only to make sure that it's small and lightweight as well, I guess. I don't know why. So we did it in one function, so it will be like a little bit hard for you to see. If you see here, we are checking with the request object that if the method is a post method or not. If it's a post method, it will grab the name, email, doubt, print it out in the terminal, send a notification to me, and then it will save the doubt to the database, and then it will return the redirect to the user. Return a redirect to the user such that what such that we can holding, yeah, obviously holding. I purposefully like stop the holding because the holding has some vulnerabilities. Anyways, and if the method is not post request, then it will just simply render the index.html file. Nice. And there are no more doubts. That's it. And there's just one function. You can see here I have this function called notify sign, right? What this function does is it opens up notify, like send in like terminal, sends a title and message. It also returns true if the like this thing went, if this thing went well, it would send true, and also if sub process. And also this part is important. I told you like with app context db.create at all. And now why it is important? Like we mentioned so many things in the app, right? Like we made an ORM model like a table, okay. Now when it comes to the database, okay, the database file actually gets created, but this doesn't get written, okay. Like like the new table, this thing is not written. So whenever a new operation tries like we need to try to do a new operation or database, like adding some new data, it actually gets it actually gets a bit pretty messy. Like last time we saw here, it showed us an error, like some operation error, okay. So this line can fix it easily. It's just one line, you can just put it in and you can fix it. And there was also one more route that I removed just now. Wait, what front end thing? Did you make it look good? Actually, yes, the front end. This time we switched the roles. I am the backend guy, but this time I did the front end, and my front end guy he did the backend. And yeah, you can say like this time we switched the roles to learn new things. So new doubts submission form, and you can see, and this is how we made it. If you guys really have any doubt, you can still ask. Yeah, doubt things is like still open. Now I'm gonna open up the Excel sheet. Super stuff, bro. Thank you so much. By the way, wait. By the way, wait a second. Okay, I'm gonna open up the. Wait a second. Let me quickly stop presenting. I will also address the doubts. Okay, now I will address all of the doubts. So let me quickly open up the spreadsheet and remove the like phone number and the email address section and the name section. Hide columns and then also yeah, hide columns. So entire screen allow and there you go. So don't leave now. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, you can. So see here. Okay. So you guys like gave me a lot of like doubts. Okay, that to cover. So now let's cover that. Our main objective is done. We have actually covered the whole session. I hope you guys have learned a lot about Flask today. Now it's time to actually cover the doubts. Wait a second. What was this? You say the cute reviews here. Yeah, sure. Anyway, see ya. Forget this too. Okay, these are some nonsense things. Anyways, how to deploy a website free with using SQL? Pretty easy. There are websites like pythonanywhere.com. Okay, you just deploy there. Okay, there's also website like Heroku and like zero to on many like that. Okay, but it all changes. Okay, like every year they change. Why? Because this kind of model depends like how they are like made. Okay, how to make text entity and only that's totally HTML thing. I cannot tell you that. Okay, it's totally HTML thing. How to operate and build a web application. So I currently showed you the whole thing. So I hope you don't have any doubt now. Okay, so everything about Flask. Okay, yeah. I hope I was able to cover everything about Flask as from a beginner level, cover from scratch, Python development, yeah, we are cool. Definitely, we are cool. All from basics. I'm not sure I was able to cover it from basics or not, but I hope you guys got a basic idea. So if you guys tomorrow start making projects, you can actually hit up us, okay, like in WhatsApp, and we are always here to help you. Like whatever project you are making, we will try to help you. Yeah, I'm hoping this. Um, okay, anyways, about the opinion of a backend dev, responsibility to prevent malicious attacks and injections are curious to know how they prevent client-side and server-side attacks when the patch wasn't released. Huh. Now let's imagine that there is a server, okay, and it got attacked. A new vulnerability came out. Let's imagine that ChatGPT got a new vulnerability. Okay, so what will happen is either OpenAI will now start like posing restrictions in their like in their inputs, or it will completely shut down ChatGPT for some time. They will patch it and then release it. That usually happens, okay. But obviously, if there are problem, like not every problem is same, so there can be different solutions as well. After building website like using like CSS, JavaScript, PHP, not PHP. If you're making it with PHP, you are in the wrong place, okay, my friend. If you want to host it, a lot of websites told you Python anywhere, Python anywhere. There's also Heroku. Even though it's not like free anymore, but still you can actually try it out. There is Vercel, there is Render, and there's also Netlify. Yeah. Regarding web development, yeah, placement help. Sorry, we cannot do placement help here now, right now because भैया मुझको भी placement चाहिए थोड़ा सा, तो placement लगा दो. How to start with building projects? Yeah. Now the thing is, if you want to start building projects, do you guys know about Bob Ross? He's not a web developer. He's not a web developer. He's an American painter. Okay. Now, how do you think that he was like painting all these beautiful paintings? He got an inspiration, right? If he didn't got an inspiration, he would actually travel somewhere to find inspiration, even if it's a serious inspiration. Just like that, you need to find your inspiration. If you find the inspiration, even if you don't find inspiration, like Just try to find a friend who made a machine learning model but just cannot make a website out of it. Just help that guy. Just help that guy. One day you will say, oh yeah, I made that website. I made a backend. Okay, so responsive CSS and JavaScript. So yeah, I know who posted this. That guy is not present here. Let me tell you, that guy is my neighbor. I'm gonna kill him. Anyways, responsive CSS and JavaScript. Now it is in the front end part. Okay, if you're like, obviously if your code is responsive and like it has a lot of like JavaScript, if it's responsive, it's good. If it has a lot of JavaScript, like I'm afraid your code will like start up very slow. Okay, example, all these applications take a very long time to load in older devices. Why? Because these have a lot of like JavaScript. Even in newer devices, this take a lot of time because of the JavaScript. Not the advantage in daily life. Since you know Flask, you have a basic understanding of how backend works. So this time you can remote pacing when the CPC server isn't working. Okay, so how to integrate Flask with RabbitMQ? Trust me, I don't know what RabbitMQ is. It's a message broker. I know, but still, I actually took help from one of our friends, and you can see here I made like I not only I like one like with the help of a friend we made here a small article on that how to integrate. Okay, you can actually go to the website. Yes, there you go. You can actually go to this website, and there you go. Simple RabbitMQ integration Flask example. Just run this. Yeah, just read it. Okay, we have mentioned it briefly, totally briefly. I took the help of a friend, and you just can just go through it. Anyways, where it is? Yeah, there you go. How work Django and Flask in the backend? Well, Django and Flask, these are like backend like frameworks, right? Now, I guess you are talking about like when we run something like when I'm running this kind of things. It says it wants me like it's a development server. It is a development server. You like use a production server instead, right? So what we do is we use something. Wait a second. What the hell? We use a like production server instead here. So what happens is that we can actually run this application on a like on a wide variety of servers, as well as it can handle even more users. So in backend, we use something called a production server. There are a lot of production servers available like CherryPy, JDCon, UviCon. You can use that. What's the pathway of a web developer? If you're talking about the full stack developer, you need to either learn front end first or back end first, but you need to learn both front end and back end. Okay, but you can learn anything at like anything. Like, I mean, you can just go in this website, learn anything. Okay, like one this. Okay, like first. Okay, like front end or back end. Then learn the other thing that you left. Like I learned back end first, then front end. And sometimes like a lot of the people what they do is they learn front end first, then back end. It works, and then they become front like they become like full stack developers. If you want to become a web developer, that's the way. Just learn. Please explain Flask from beginner. Okay. Please discuss the common errors that might happen while designing a web page. I was intentionally trying to add these errors to my web pages. Like, let me tell you, not resolved dependencies, one of the biggest problems. Okay. And then some variable issues. Like, there can be a ton of issues that I just cannot mention here. I face so many issues, but I just cannot mention those issues because there's so many. So good luck facing issues in your code. We are here to help you, by the way. How to make code for web application? Yeah, I told you. I'm a beginner. I have zero knowledge. Okay. What is Flask and what is it used for? Okay, I told you like it's a web development framework. You make backend with it, custom backends. How to start doing project in web development? How to get free server? How to handle exception in this type of application? In Python, like let me tell you, in like Python. Okay, since Flask is running in Python, there is try and try and accept rules. Okay, These are actually used for um these are actually used for the like exception handling. By the way, we were talking about like getting free server. If you have a credit card, just go to Linode. You will get a free, like not a free, I mean like, but a very very cheap server. Okay, like around few cents per day, something like that. Also, you have like a free trial, so just use that. Otherwise, you can just stick to Python anyway. It's also good, or Google Apps Engine, something like that. If I'm a college student who is starting preparation for almost everything and also going to start a full stack with development preparation, can I start with JavaScript? Yeah, you can. But the problem is with DSA. In JavaScript, you cannot do like, I mean, you can do GDSA, but I mean, like, it's preferred with like a lot of the other languages because obviously it's preferred. In JavaScript, yeah, I mean, you can. If you want, you can. With JavaScript, you can do DSA. I mean, all it matters is learn and do something. Okay, learn and do something useful, something that can actually like give you. Okay, what is the timing of the session? Like end time. I mean, the session has ended already. I'm just discussing the doubts. Okay, so those who are actually present here, and like I'm talking about the doubts. Okay, like the doubts everybody is facing. If you guys are having like, oh, it's getting late, you can actually leave. To be honest, the session has already ended. Everything from basics and the resources that we can follow later. Yeah, it's actually present here. Just go here. Wait, not here. Here you can find yeah, you can find here all the resources. I also in there basics, detailed learning of what topics are going to teach. Yeah, it's present here. Good source to get this. Yeah, yeah, done. So all the doubts have been covered, and also I would like to thank everyone who was here, who was like patiently watching me. Yes, yes. Are you going to speak something? Thank you, buddy. When's the next session? I don't
By the
know.
way, do you know Guru Charan? Hello.
It was in the
Okay, okay. So yeah, Guru Charan, thanks for joining. The session has ended, right?
yeah. My roommates are studying. Yeah, I knew like it was.
Yeah,
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 if
you
you
should
want, you
stop,
can.
stop the recording. No issues, man. No issues.